Welcome back to The Great Expanse by John Bev 426 here on YouTube. You know the instructions, you know the directions, because I really just want to get to the meat and potatoes of what this video is going to be about. And it's about the tumult at DC Studios. There's been a lot in the news about James Gunn and Peter Safran coming through and just burning down everything that was previously established by Zack Snyder in the Snyderverse. And in particular, I want to talk about just the back and forth regarding Henry Cavill being Superman, then not being Superman, as well as the fraudulent reports from specific websites talking about Patti Jenkins and Wonder Woman 3. So we're going to talk about Superman first. Now, before Black Adam was released on October 11th of this year, and Henry Cavill announced at the behest of Warner Brothers Studios, okay, Warner Brothers Discovery, he will be returning in the role as Superman, okay? After that, James Gunn and Peter Safran were hired to be the new CEOs of DC Studios. It was previously DC Films, but it was changed to DC Studios. James Gunn and Peter Safran are the CEOs of DC Studios. And here is the message that Henry Cavill posted on his Instagram. I'm gonna read the letter, and I'm gonna have the letter posted there. Okay. I had to look at the monitor and make sure I was pointing to the right place. Okay. Is somber looking. Is a black field with white lettering on it, so there's a lot conveyed just in the wording of it. You know what I mean? There's no picture behind it. It's just black canvas, white letters, white words. This is Henry Cavill. I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember, Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there! Exclamation point. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards. This was Henry Cavill on Instagram a few days ago. Now, I already said on the channel, after other people said it, I didn't break the news, that Henry Cavill will not be returning as Superman. But to hear this letter, reading this, I got sad for Henry immediately. Because you can just feel all the deflation. He sat out of playing Superman for years. Didn't make a peep about Superman. He went on to other things. He became Geralt, I believe, of The Witcher. Very prominent role. He stepped away from the role as The Witcher to do what the studio told him to announce, that he's going to return to Superman. And then the hiring of James Gunn and Peter Safran, which I do believe is for the best. Okay, they're hiring. And then having to be told this, you just feel his disappointment. You feel his hurt. It's very professional, though. It's penned very professionally. The language is professional. But you know Henry is hurting about this. And you know, like, well, he's a multimillionaire. Who cares? He's a human with money. He's not just money. He's still a person. He still has feelings. Okay? And this news has not been universally received in a liking manner. Most people say, I hate this happened to him, but I understand the necessity. I don't think there's a large majority of people that say, yeah, get Henry out of there. He's ridiculous. And those people that do say that, you need to examine the role of a writer, the role of an actor, and the role of a director. The actor doesn't write the movie, and he doesn't tell the actors what to do. The director tells the actors what to do. So to say, well, he had his opportunity. He wasn't writing the script for Superman. Zack Snyder was doing that. So to say, yeah, he blew his opportunity. No. Henry Cavill was doing what he was instructed to do. He did what the script said to do. That's what an actor does. And I've said on this channel repeatedly that one of my favorite parts of Zack Snyder's Justice League is just him coming to Wayne Manor and talking to Alfred and him conveying the brightness, the optimism, and the hope that is Superman. And he's walking up to him in a very, like, warm manner. Like, he's smiling. I think his head is slightly tilted. You must be Alfred. That's Superman right there. That's the one we know and love. This is the guy that is just an emblem of hope around the world. He brought that back in Zack Snyder's Justice League. People say, oh, well, he's just associated with being a dark, brooding Superman. His face is still that of Superman. Okay? So, the news has not been universally received, especially in the way it was handled. The fact that the studio said, announce your return, and then he was turned over, basically, and fired, basically. And a lot of people are very disappointed. I don't like the way it's happened to Henry, but I understand why it has to be done. All right. Now, this is a tweet from James Gunn, sort of in response. Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go. Now, remember I did a video about Warner Brothers Discovery's 10-year plan? Which we couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. Okay? And I'm going to skip up to the article. It says, among those on the slate is Superman. Duh. I mean, it should be duh, even though he hadn't had a movie in 9 years. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill, Gunn clarified. He added, but we just had a great meeting with Henry and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. Alright. So, what else does it say? It says, Gunn also answered a few questions from fans in the replies of his Twitter thread, revealing he's writing the new Superman film, but won't direct. Now, let me be clear here. I am not a huge James Gunn movie fan. I'm not a huge fan, okay? I did really like Brightburn. I liked the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Most people say they like the second one. I didn't like the second one that much. It was just ridiculous. It was like an acid trip. He did The Suicide Squad, which I was a fan of, but I'm saying, these aren't great movies to me. So his claim to fame are sort of B-list, sort of motley assemblages of superhuman characters. So whoever they hire as Superman, whoever they hire as Batman, for the current continuity, not Matt Reeves' Batman, whoever they whoever they hire as Wonder Woman and Aquaman and the rest of the Justice League, you just put a target on your back, James Gunn and Peter Safran, because every decision you make and announce has to be a home run, because there's a large contingent of the Snyderverse fans that want nothing more than for you to fail or just fall short. Just the slightest misstep will be magnified by your detractors and naysayers. So, Mr. Gunn, Mr. Safran, you really got to be on your business. Alright? And there's also talk about Ben Affleck. Okay? Another curious fan asked if it would be possible for Ben Affleck to direct the Superman project, with Gunn indicating Affleck is interested in directing a DC superhero movie, though it's unclear which one. Met with Ben yesterday precisely because he wants to direct, and we want him to direct. We just have to find the right project, Gunn said. Okay? So, I like the way James Gunn and Peter Safran are handling this. It seems like, in my mind's eye, they invited Henry Cavill into the office, Gal Gadot and Patti Jenkins, Jason Momoa, Ben Affleck, and let them down gently that you will not be reprising your roles as the DC Holy Trinity, and Jason Momoa, you will not be reprising your role as Aquaman. But there's optimism, because it's saying we want to work with them in the future, especially with Aquaman being recast. Especially with Jason Momoa being recast as Lobo. So they're not just like ripping the Band-Aid off. It's being done delicately, and I can appreciate that. Now let's talk about Patti Jenkins and Wonder Woman 3. Alright, so I've pulled up a tweet, and it's an extensive tweet by Patti Jenkins. So earlier this week, it was reported by insiders, trusted and proven sources, from, in particular, Deadline, Variety, and The Wrap, that Patti Jenkins stormed off the set of Wonder Woman 3. There were reports that she totally threw an unprofessional hissy fit regarding Wonder Woman 3 being canceled, and other information, which is apparently fraudulent. So, here's the tweet from Patti Jenkins. Sigh. I'm not one to talk about private career matters, but I will not allow inaccuracies to continue. Here are the facts. I originally left Rogue Squadron after a long and productive development process when it became clear it couldn't happen soon enough, and I did not want to delay Wonder Woman 3 any further. When I did, Lucasfilm asked me to consider coming back to Rogue Squadron after Wonder Woman 3, which I was honored to do, so I agreed. They made a new deal with me. In fact, I am still on it, and that project has been in active development ever since. I don't know if it will happen or not. We never do until the development process is complete, but I look forward to its potential ahead. When there started being backlash about Wonder Woman 3 not happening, the attractive clickbait false story that it was me that killed it or walked away started to spread. This is simply not true. I never walked away. I was open to considering anything asked of me. It was my understanding there was nothing I could do to move anything forward at this time. DC is obviously buried in changes they are having to make, so I understand these decisions are difficult right now. I do not want what has been a beautiful journey with Wonder Woman to land on negative note. I have loved and been so honored to be the person who got to make these last 2 Wonder Woman films. She is an incredible character. Living in and around her values makes one a better person every day. I wish her and her legacy an amazing future ahead, with or without me. Walking side by side with Linda Carter, an absolute legend and beacon of goodness and light, has been a thrill. I have learned so much from her and will cherish her as a friend and mentor always. My crew has been like family and fought every day to give the world the best films they could, and Gal Gadot. Where do I even begin? Gal is the greatest gift I have received in this whole journey. A cherished friend, inspiration, and sister. There are no words I can use to convey how magical she is. She is the walking embodiment of Wonder Woman in real life and a better person than the world can imagine. Never once in the millions of moments I have spent with her did I see anything less. She is a gift to this world, and even more so to me. Lastly, but most importantly, thank you, is in caps, to the incredible Wonder Woman fans and for all of your love and support. Wonder Woman fans are often not the most visible in the media and online, but I want you to know that we have always seen and celebrated you and your importance. You were first and foremost in our minds every day we made the last 2 films. You are the best and most loving people, and I look forward to always celebrating you. Thank you all for this wonderful journey. Keep up the Wonder Woman spirit. Any day that you face struggles, try asking, what would Wonder Woman do? WWWD. I hope her beacon of love, truth, and justice is always there to lead the way for you as she has done for me. So a lot of shakeups, a lot of just like negative press regarding Henry Cavill's dismissal as Superman, regarding Patti Jenkins and the cancellation of Wonder Woman 3. And I heard that Peter Gunn and James Gunn, I keep saying Peter Gunn's because of the rapper. James Gunn and Peter Safran informed Gal Gadot and Patti Jenkins that they will not be proceeding with her script. And I understand they never even read the script. That's what I understood, okay? And again, I'm not breaking this news. I heard this somewhere else, okay? So a lot of stuff going on in DC. I can see that a lot of this will be used as fuel for boycotting Warner Brothers, since the Snyderverse is not going to proceed forward. How do I feel about the Snyderverse? The Snyderverse was very hit and very miss. What was a miss? Batman vs. Superman was a wasted opportunity. It really was. Now, when I was watching the movie in the theater, I was on the edge of my seat because I did not know the story. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I'm like, how does Doomsday fit into this? Again, I thought they let out too much in the trailer. So I'm like, where are they going with this? You know what I mean? Man of Steel was a hit to me. The theatrical version of Justice League was a hit. Wasn't a hit. Wasn't a miss, but it was a hit. It was okay. And of course, you know, I think Zack Snyder's Justice League was a hit. I believe that all the characters involved in that movie were kind of based on their comic book counterparts. One thing I didn't like was Aquaman stabbing Steppenwolf through the back. I thought that was a little cowardly. I didn't think Aquaman would do something like that. But all the characters kind of seemed like, you know, their comic book counterparts. So I think that Zack Snyder's Justice League is a hit. But again, there are kind of misses all around. And again, I like the fact that it was already established. So the fact that everything is coming in and everything is like topsy-turvy now, it leaves fans, it has me in a state of uncertainty because we don't have anything concrete except what James Gunn said about there being a slate. But we haven't seen anything about a slate. We hear that Superman is a priority, but we don't know who's playing him. We don't know anything. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, I'm optimistic about it, but I still don't know anything yet. And again, James Gunn's movies don't really scream at me that this is the right guy that's in charge. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I like the fact that it is James Gunn because he's a contemporary right now as far as movie making in the comic book realm. Okay, he's not from the old school, but he's very modern. He's very contemporary. Everyone knows who he is because of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad. So he's a name that rings bells, and I appreciate that. But it's time to see him deliver. And as I said, he can't just get on base. He can't just hit a single. He can't get the bases loaded. Everything has to be a home run at the beginning. The trajectory of DC Studios in this 10-year slate has to... It can't go like this. It has to go straight up. Zoom. It can't be steady. It has to rocket to the moon. You know, rockets aren't horizontal. They face vertical. So they go straight up. They blast off. That's what DC Studios has to do. Okay? And this has been a longer video, but I feel like this is some important stuff to talk about. And, you know, how I feel about it. And, of course, you know, unfortunately, we never know how the old ways would have worked with Darkseid. And, unfortunately, with Desaad and Granny Goodness in tow, he's basically walking off into the sunset, never to be seen again in that iteration of the Snyderverse. But maybe we'll see Darkseid in about 15 or 20 years. I mean, you don't want to hurry Darkseid. You know what I mean? Like, now my mind's working. Okay, remember how it was with the Lobo movie ideas? You know, Mongol and... Because you can do a movie, you can do a series of movies with just the Fourth World. Jack Kirby's Fourth World. Okay? You can introduce Orion to the audience who don't really know who Orion is. You can introduce Mr. Miracle. You can talk about how Highfather and Darkseid had to exchange sons to bring a halt to their bloody, like, millennia-long war. You can introduce Kanto, Bernadette, the female Furies, Big Barda, how she and Mr. Miracle fall in love and they leave Granny Goodness and Apocalypse. So many possibilities, Mr. Gunn and Mr. Safran. All right, and I'm going to end it right there because I can go on and on about the Fourth World. But this has been The Great Expanse by John Bat 426. What do you feel about the shakeups with DC Studios, now newly christened as the DCU rather than DCEU? Are you optimistic about James Gunn and Peter Safran and them sort of chartering this DC ship? You know what I mean? Because it's going to be an interconnected universe among animation, among television series, and movies. Do they have what it takes? All right. So, David Brent, where should they leave their comments, sir? I agree. And if you've liked the videos you've seen thus far, hit the like button. If not, hit the dislike button. Share these videos with other people that like comic book related items. Subscribe to the channel so the next time a new video is dropped, you'll know about it second. I'll know about it first. Let's get traffic coming in. Traffic going out. And The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will expand. It's in the name. Up, up, and away.
Use the old ways.